Hi, this is Frank Schaefer. And as the proud father of a Marine who served in Afghanistan twice and once in Iraq in those benighted wars that I opposed on political grounds, but nevertheless supported my honorable son for serving his country. One of the most troubling things about the modern Republican Party is its disloyalty to the United States of America and its disloyalty to our military. Within moments of Senator Tuberville lifting his opposition to and hold on abortion-related blockading of the U.S. military promotions that held up hundreds of promotions and jeopardized the defense posture of the United States at a time when in Ukraine a war is raging with our sworn enemy, Vladimir Putin, against the West. In that context, to have the Republicans now refusing President Biden's request to fund the aid that we are giving the Ukrainians to stand up against the aggression of Vladimir Putin and his totalitarian war machine, his nuclear-armed totalitarian war machine, this dreadful dictator who has opponents poisoned, murdered, imprisoned, shot, stabbed, thrown out of windows. The Republicans are siding with Vladimir Putin in order to try to twist the arm of our president about domestic policy issues where they disagree. In this particular case, U.S. border security against immigration and asylum seekers. The disgusting Tuberville held up appointments to our military at a time of world crisis. And now our effort to help Ukraine stand up for its rights, Ukraine that has battled a Russian army that used rape as a weapon of war in thousands of documented cases, that threatens Western Europe, our ally. This is the same party that follows Donald Trump, who wants to take us out of NATO altogether and recreate the isolationism that pandered to fascism in the 1930s, pushed by people like Henry Ford and Lindbergh the aviator and others. This is the same party that wants to re-elect Donald Trump, who made a deal with Russia to pressure Ukraine over getting political indictment of Biden in the last round of elections, that tried to bribe Ukraine into providing dirt on the Biden family to help him in his politics. As the father of a Marine, as a commentator, as an American citizen loyal to my country, I am disgusted by today's Republican Party that thinks that national security can be traded as just one more chip on the gambling table of the chances they're taking with our national security, whether it's military appointments or the funding of our aid to Ukraine. Tomorrow, it might be our aid to Israel, if they could get away with that with their voters. The next day, who knows? Let me remind you that in World War II, 500,000 Black Americans, even in that racist era, served their country nobly at a time when they were persecuted and discriminated against within the very military they were serving. They served nonetheless. 500,000 Jews served in the military in World War II in a country where institutions like Harvard were keeping them out because of their anti-Semitism. And nevertheless, they stood up and they served. Nobody was waiting around for the country to become perfect before they served in our military. Men, women alike, Black, white, brown, including Native Americans who served out of all proportion to their numbers in our population, discriminated against, put on reservations, but they did not wait for perfection because they had an underlying loyalty and gratitude for what freedom there was in this country compared to the fascists. No one was waiting around for perfection. And now the Republican Party, this disloyal party, jeopardizes our military readiness because of the abortion issue, where they have stripped women of the right to abortion, where a woman in Texas last week had to go to a judge to get permission to end a pregnancy where the child was not going to live and her life was threatened. This demeaning situation that women have been put in, and that's not enough for Tuberville. He wanted to jeopardize our military readiness for this. And now the Republicans are refusing to aid and allow our president to direct our foreign policy, which he has done brilliantly, and jeopardize the security of the United States against Russia. I knew Ronald Reagan when I was in the Republican Party. I was on the platform the night the evangelicals endorsed him. I have letters from the Bush family. I knew them. I changed sides. But one thing I still agree with the old Republican guard that I knew personally and worked with back in the 70s and 80s, while I was part of the Republican Party before I became a more liberal, more progressive person and changed my views on issues such as reproductive choice and other matters. But one thing I haven't changed on is my loyalty to the United States. I am not waiting for perfection. My loyalty to America does not depend on the fact that there are homophobic people here and racists and it's imperfect. I still believe that the United States is a great country. I am glad to live here. And I would call on Republicans to abandon this fascist coddling party that jeopardizes our stand against Vladimir Putin to make a point on immigration policy. I am disgusted with you. And as the father of a Marine, I just have this to say. God damn your disloyalty, Republicans. My name is Frank Schaefer.